What is going on, everybody? It's lunchtime. It's Friday, end of the work week, last episode of the week. Can't wait to be done with my work day, but want to stay here all day with you guys and hang out and talk about all the stuff going around in the world, sports, entertainment, and CrossFit. But before we do, I've got to tackle this dartboard. I've got to get a good shot before the weekend. It has been an awful week. I'll explain in a second. Here we go. Whoa, that one came back and almost hit me. Ooh. Better. Still not a bullseye. We're going to get it someday. I swear to God, we're going to get it. Meredith, yes. Yay, Friday. Yes. So, and I know you guys don't really care about the back end of this stuff, but Corey has seen it. Between StreamYard and my Roadcaster this week, I am ready to throw this equipment in the trash. Last night, tried to do the Justin Cotler interview before we got started. My Roadcaster would not hook up. I had no mic, so nobody could hear me, and it took me like 5 to 6 minutes just to get it up and running. Today, the same thing happened before this show. StreamYard has been kicking us out for no reason at all. It's been just the dumbest stuff all week. But I'm glad to be with you guys today. Glad to finish the weekend strong. As you all know, I'm a big Chicago Bears fan. Schedule was released this week. And then this book that's coming out talked about Caleb Williams and him not wanting to be a Chicago Bear before the draft last year. So all this news is piling up. And, but I still I love my Bears. I think that what things that he was saying before the draft were actually correct. And it turned out to be correct. And he was right in all the things that he said. But just, I'm always watching Bears news and CrossFit news. I watch YouTube 8 to 10 hours a day. I mean, that is my channel of choice. I'm watching podcasts all day. But most of you know that the Bears' backup quarterback is Tyson Bagent. Tyson Bagent grew up in the CrossFit space. His dad was an affiliate owner. His dad was an announcer at the CrossFit Games. And he was on a local Chicago radio podcast this week. And I want to play it for you because he is preaching CrossFit during this interview. The interview's 36 minutes long. And so I'm just going to play you an excerpt about minute 31 is where he starts getting into this. And it's called Recap. And the subtitle is Chicago Bears quarterback Tyson Bagent on why it's different with Ben Johnson and Caleb ready to skyrocket. So I'm going to share that with you. So if you want to go check it out for yourself and see the whole thing, first thing I noticed right away is Tyson has cut off all of his hair. He is almost clean shaven on the top. But here, Dave Kaplan, who is the guy in the middle, this guy right here, he is going to ask him about his workouts. And that's when we get into all of the good stuff. So here we go.
Ask you about your workouts because I read about it last year where you're doing these workouts.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up.
Stupid hard with your buddy.
Yeah, my mentor / best friend, Derek Gallagher. But I work out with about all my buddies. That's a prerequisite to being my buddy is that we get it in together.
So what is a...
Oh, that was bad. I was in the pain cave right there. Don't show too much of that now.
Where did the workout?
The open announcement?
No, so it's not really a design. Rather it is CrossFit. So I've been doing CrossFit ever since I was around 8-9 years old. And the way CrossFit is defined is constantly varied functional movements performed at high intensity. so that's kind of how me and my brother and my dad kind of had us getting down since an early age. And then I kind of developed my own kind of love and understanding for it ever since, once I became like around 17, 18 and started understanding what it means to be healthy and what all that is. I don't know what the heck I would do. I don't know what I'm gonna do when all this football stuff's over with. That's to be determined. But we like to get it in. And so programming CrossFit workouts, most of the time I'll let him do the programming. He's got a trick shoulder and is a little older than me, so I let him pick the workouts. But then I also do my own with my other friend and kind of new CrossFit mentor, Andrew Hiller, who actually lives not far from here.
Yeah. 20 years from now, you'll be in your 40s. This football thing will likely be over.
So there it is. Hiller getting some airtime in the Chicago local area, as well as Tyson Bagent educating on what CrossFit is, what it means to him, how he uses that workout, how he's done it since he's been 8-9 years old. And now he's a quarterback in the NFL for my beloved Chicago Bears. It was a great interview. He is just a ball of energy and positivity. And so it was so much fun watching the interview. Got me so hyped for the season. But it's crazy when you're watching like something with your one love in the NFL and my Chicago Bears, and my CrossFit World collides with that. And you listen to Tyson talk about what CrossFit is, what it means to him, how it got him where he is today, and all the people in his life that have helped him with that along the way. So pretty awesome. Again, you can check that out. It's called Recap, REKAP. Yeah, and that's a show. Dave Kaplan is a morning radio host in Chicago sports radio, and then he has this podcast on the side. Corey says, love that dude. Wish he was in NOLA. They actually talk about that in this interview. There have been some rumblings that the New Orleans Saints are actually interested in bringing on Tyson Bagent as a starter. And they asked him about that. And his answer was that he goes with the premise that he worries about where his feet are today. And where his feet are today is to be the best backup quarterback for the Chicago Bears that he can be, and to make Caleb Williams the best quarterback that he can be. And he's got a lot to learn with that. And that is where his 100% focus is. If something like that were to come up down the line, he would surely be into exploring those options. But they actually bring up the Saints specifically looking for a starting quarterback. And I guess they have inquired to the Bears about the availability of Tyson Bagent. Again, I am not as inside in that world as I am in the CrossFit world. But that is that I guess that did actually happen, dude. So maybe someday in the future he could be in New Orleans. Tyson promoting CrossFit more in 3 minutes than Matt Frazier in a 3-hour interview. I know. What's cool about Tyson is every opportunity he gets to talk about CrossFit, he does, and he does it very willingly, and he does it very passionately. And so I think that's really awesome that he does that. Because I watch the Bears all the time, and I watch all the press conferences, and I watch all the things that go on, he does bring them up all the time. He brings up CrossFit constantly, about workouts he's done, now he does shut down the CrossFit workouts, the high intensity aspect of it during the season, but in the off season, he's all in and fully on board. So yeah, I just thought that was something fun to share with you from kind of outside our normal space. But I thought that would be kind of a fun share. So I got some messages from Jay Birch last night. And then I saw that Barbell Spin broke it today that the stream for TFX is only going to be Saturday, Sunday. They are not streaming today's 2 events. So you can only leaderboard watch for that. Or if you know an athlete's that is there. I know Matt Brady is there. He's been having a family member stream his stuff live. I got a notification on that today. But there is no stream today. So it's kind of piecing things together or looking at the leaderboard. But then tomorrow and Sunday, you can watch it on YouTube. And there are links. I mean, if you search TFX Invitational on YouTube, I'm sure it'll pop up. But they will be streaming events 3, 4, 5, and 6 for the end of the weekend. So that's what we have there. As for my picks for this weekend, with so many people dropping out because they've already qualified in the in-person semifinal, or they think they have, it's not official yet. The field is actually kind of limited, but here are my picks for who is going to qualify and who will podium at TFX. On the men's side, I have Chris Ibarra winning, with Nick Matthew finishing second and CJ Gerald finishing third. Also people to watch out for, I would say, Bill Leahy is someone to look out for there. I just don't know how recovered he is from his injury. I haven't seen him high enough on the leaderboard to like give me super confidence in picking him to win. And that's why I went with Nick Matthew and Ibarra above him at this point. And CJ Gerald is an awesome athlete. I've been following him in his semifinal career for about 4 years. He went on a team to the games last year. So he took a year off to kind of focus on some things. And he is a lot of like the regional comps in the West, he does really, really well in. And I think he might be a surprise to show up on the podium as CJ Gerald. Watch out for that name there. He is in the Austin Hatfield, Colten Mertens stature. But he is really strong, really fit, really good at gymnastics. Look for CJ Gerald to pop on that side. On the women's side, I have Sydney McAlishan winning it. I think she's had a good showing at WFP last weekend. And I just think she's poised after a couple years off to really come back and get at it. So Sydney to win, Olivia Kerstetter to take second. And then I have Rebecca Fuselier taking third. I see Craig has Hannah Black in there. I love Hannah Black. She's one of the people I love just chatting with. I think she will do well, but I think she still has to close the gap on some of her holes a little bit more to really get into that top 3. I think she'll do fine on the barbell stuff. And this is where I don't have Olivia winning. I think that Sydney is not just as strong as Olivia, but because we're doing just basic points, Olivia is not going to extend beyond Sydney very much in the barbell because Sydney is pretty strong. And where Sydney will make up ground is she doesn't have as big a deficits in the other areas as Olivia does. So I think she'll make up some ground with Olivia, like on rope climbs and things of that nature. And Craig, I know TFX has a lot of barbell work, but if you finish 30th or 40th in an event that is not barbell, it's going to be hard to come back from. And that's where Hannah's problem is right now. She has not proven that she can damage control those events at this point yet. That's my feeling. I could be wrong. I could be proven wrong this weekend. I think she is a phenomenal athlete and is really trying hard to get to that spot, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of time. And we'll see. Like take someone like Annika Greer, who qualified out of the in affiliate semifinal. She has been working on her running since I have known her, and that was five years ago. I mean, I think the first episode we did with her was like episode 32. We're on like 1100. And she's been working on running ever since then. And she stopped lifting so much, stopped doing some of those other things. And she still has a big hole in running after 5 years of working on it. So Hannah's been working on the running for 2 years, and working on that cardio and the upper body pulling stuff that she needs to improve on. And I just don't think that that's enough time to have improved at this point. And Jason Bourne, I think you're right. I don't know who he thinks is right, whether Craig or me, but either way, give support to who you think's right. I am bummed that we can't watch the workouts today, although I am pretty tired of Heavy Isabel, but I would like to see if Olivia Kerstetter can go faster than the 304 or 305 that she pulled off in affiliate semis, especially after this will be her 3rd week in a row of competing. You know, we talk about, is this too much in one season to compete week after week after week? Today is going to tell us a lot, because we have some athletes that are going for their 3rd week in a row. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do. A lot of these athletes did in affiliate semifinals. They did WFP, and now they're doing TFX in 3 straight weeks. And we're going to see what that means. Lito says, no way she can go faster than an affiliate, considering they have to move the barbell forward in live competition. I hear you. Olivia has done things that I didn't think were humanly possible. So I don't know. I understand your logic behind it, and it makes perfect sense. But yeah, I just don't put anything past Olivia at this point. Some of the stuff she did at West Coast last night blew my mind, or last year blew my mind. Strategically, Eric Mackey says, Olivia should just go for 345 and still take the win. You're probably right. There's no need to win by a minute on this workout. You just need to win and then save yourself for the rest of the weekend, especially competing 3 weekends in a row. Jason Bourne says, I saw Colten is at TFX. He sure is. He is there to do some sponsor stuff and hang out with Paper Street Coffee, I believe is part of his plan, but also his fiance is competing. Ali Zerke qualified for TFX. So this is her first big competition in the individual division during the CrossFit Games season. She has competed at the games on a team before, but she has never competed at like a regional or semifinal level as an individual athlete. And Colten is going to be her coach this weekend. So that is probably the main reason he is there. But I guess he's also going to hang out at the Paper Street Coffee booth. So if you're there in Oklahoma City and you wanted to check out and go see Colten, I think he's going to be hanging out over there at that Paper Street Coffee booth. You can probably get a picture, an autograph, or just chat with the dude. But yeah, it's cool that he's there. Really cool that he's there. And best of luck to Ali. She's a great person too. I love hanging out with her. One of my favorite things ever is after Granite Games in 2022. Yeah, 2022, I think. And Colten had qualified for the games. Ken Walters and I hung out with Colten and Ali for a while at the hotel bar after Granite Games in 2022. We had a blast. So love those two and hope Ali can really put on a show and do some cool stuff. That'll be fun. So I think that's it about TFX that I want to talk about. We'll have a lot more on that on Sunday night CrossFit Talk. as everything finishes up and people have punched their ticket. We'll go through the workouts. We'll go through who did well, what was good, what was bad about everything. And that'll be with Carolyn and Jamie and myself on Sunday Night CrossFit Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, I did a conversation with Justin Cotler last night at 6 p.m. It's out there for view now. It was a great conversation. If you have any curiosity about how coaches and athletes are looking at this new season with all the opportunities, the way him and Alex Gazan looked at it, I found fascinating. He talks about how they sat down, how they wanted to pace the season in a way that they got through safely and with the body most intact that it could be. And that's why they have not done anything at part of the CrossFit Games season yet. They wanted to do WFP, have a month off, do NorCal Classic, have a few months off, and then do the games. I do ask him, is it risky going to NorCal and that be your only shot? And he said, the last few years, you've only ever had one shot. And so we're willing. He goes, and he actually said on the show, I don't like that people get multiple bites at the apple. I like it that it is, you take your shot and either you make it or you don't. And he has every confidence in the world that even with only 2 spots open, Alex is poised to take one of those 2 spots. They are very confident in their ability in order to do that. So their plan is to do that, get one of the, actually to get the top spot. They're confident in winning and then moving on to the CrossFit Games. So, and I think that was one of the most enlightening things in last night's interview was the confidence that both Alex and him have now in that they go to events to win. They're not going to podium. They're not going to get a qualifying spot. Every event that they're entering, they are entering to win. And that he believes that Alex has moved into that discussion as best female athlete in the world. So check that out. It's on the Clydesdale Media YouTube channel and available for you to check that out. We also got a little bit of breaking news yesterday from the WFP, and that is that they have decided to make a rule that the highest finishing challenger in the series that weekend will get an automatic bid to the following tour stop. So what that means is for tour stop 1, the highest finishing challengers were Fisa Gaffi in the women and Colten Mertens in the men. Because they were the highest finishing challenger, they both now get an automatic bid to tour stop 2, meaning they do not have to do the qualifier. They will still come into that event as the top qualifying challenger and not as a pro, but they will now be able to compete in that event and compete for points. Lido says not challengers, pro qualifiers, I think. Well, they're still a challenger. They're just the top 10 challengers. And so because they're the top 10, there's no way the other challengers could ever finish above them anyway. So it's just semantics because there was a challenger qualifier. The top 10 challengers then go compete against the pros. The next 20 challengers compete in their own division. So, but I get what you're saying. They could be called pro qualifiers. It could be called challengers, whatever that is. Whatever it is, of the 10 that make it to the pro division for competition, the top finisher gets an automatic bid to the next one. They are not a signed athlete. They are not a pro yet. They just get an automatic bid without having to do the qualifier for the next event, guaranteeing they get to compete for points in the next event, which actually solves some of the issues that like Jamie argued with me on Sunday night, that these athletes go and now they've got to do a qualifier and then they got to go blah, blah. Well, Colten and Fee do not have to do the qualifier now. They're automatically going to be there. And I actually love the rule change. I think this is a good step for the sport. But what's funny is if you watch the TTT podcast that they did, kind of looking at WFP and where it needs to be better and what it can improve on, this was a suggestion that was made by them. And so it's almost like WFP said, wow, that is a good idea. Let's implement that and let's move forward. You guys are just dogging on them. Nobody says this about the PGA's tour card or the, I don't know. Man. I'm telling you, WFP is going to be here for a little while. From what I've heard, it's going to be here for a while. Now, whether they ultimately are successful or not, I don't know. But they're going to be around a while. And I enjoyed the show. That's all I'm going to say. Andrew Hiller had something that I thought was really interesting. I didn't have this in my notes, but I'm gonna pull this up. So I'm interested to know what you guys think of this post. If the World Fitness Project can kill the CrossFit Games, it's earned. What do you think he meant by that? Because I think I know what he meant by that. And it's what I've kind of been saying in a lot more words. I guess I was using word salad to say this, and he did it really quickly. And what I've been saying is, if CrossFit doesn't get off of their ass and make some changes that we've been asking for years to make a more simplified season that is easier to understand, and they don't make the changes necessary, WFP could capitalize on that and kill CrossFit. And in that way, it means that the WFP has been working hard to make the changes needed and taking the feedback given to make the changes to see. Yeah. Andrew Sten says, it means CrossFit let the WFP kill it. CrossFit has to take the WFP as competition. I agree. If CrossFit is going, Meredith says, if CrossFit is going to let it happen and not improve, then they don't deserve to be in the space. And what it means is the WFP has made those changes and has listened to criticism and has done everything necessary to earn that spot. T-Bird, ball is in CrossFit's court as I see it. This is one, because it's absolutely hilarious to me that they're handing out pro cards to whoever they want and making like it means something, yet they haven't had one yet. It doesn't mean shit yet. They only handed out cards. It's not a card, it's a spot. It's a pro spot. You have to have the 20 for the challengers to then take them on. It'd be like playing King of the Hill and not putting a king at the top of the hill to take down so that you can take over the spot. In their concept, you have to have the target for the challengers to take on. So you had to give somebody these 20 positions And while I will agree that some of those people did not deserve those positions based on their athletic ability, most of them did. 75 to 80% of them deserve to be the 20 chosen. But without the target, you can't have the competition. So you have to hand it out to someone. Now, as the years go on, then those will all be earned, because you either have to keep the person from taking you down the hill, or you have to take the person off the hill to get it. And then it will make a lot more sense. Agree. It had its faults, but I enjoyed the show. Yeah, I don't think they were perfect in any way, shape, or form, but I really enjoyed watching the show all weekend. The stream was good. The workouts were good. The ending had drama. It was awesome. And there are already 7 pros under the cut line. Yeah, there's going to be change. People are going to earn their pro card for next year. And Fee and Colten did not get a pro card. They just got an automatic bid to the next event. Sten is 100% correct. Yeah. And that is back on this comment that CrossFit let the WFP kill it. Corey, most of the athletes were chosen based on past performances, with the exception of like a few. Right. Most of them earned it through past performance. There were some people that got it because of their social media outreach. And maybe they wanted a more global selection. But all that's going to wash out here after this year. And I know in this space we have a lot of mountains, so I'm sorry I brought in the king of the mountain, but I think it's the most simplistic way to understand the concept of what they're trying to do. You have a king of the mountain, and you're trying to take people off of it and replace yourself on there. That is fitting what they want to do into the old system. They're creating a new system. The target should have been the competition itself. It's a comp, just like any other comp. I understand what they're trying to do, but it's putting the cart before the horse. It's not. They have to explain what they're trying to do. When other sports have brought this system in place, they went and looked at the world rankings, and they gave the top X number of people what we are now calling a pro card, or those spots. And then it's up to the other people to beat them and get them out of those spots. That's their storyline. And without that storyline, then people are not going to understand it in year one. It's just CrossFit. I don't even know, CrossFit Part B, or they're trying to be different. They're trying to have a different storyline. Andrew says, I do think they could have just made an open competition for the pro card instead of putting some in the pro division from the beginning. You don't attract the people without the money. You had to give people money. You had to give people a target. You had to make an incentive for people to want to do this. And they did that by selecting 40 people, handing them money and saying, this is something you want. If you have an open competition for it, it takes away that attraction. So I don't think it would have worked if they would have had an open competition for the pro card. I think it was them saying, you have had a past performance that deserves X. Here's some cash. Come play with us for a year. That got their name out there. That got big names to come in and agree to do it. And then that ball started rolling. Then you actually have something you can work with. Without that ball rolling and without handing money over to the Pat Vellners and to the Laura Horvats and those people, you would not have had this ball rolling and people incentivized to want to jump in and get that same thing that they got. The reason that Colten Mertens is going so hard is because he's pissed he didn't get asked. That gives him a chip on his shoulder to go so hard at this, and that's a storyline. That's what they're trying to do here. One, we don't know what the money is, and all it is a minimum. You can earn way more than that if you win. And for the people like Colten who didn't get the guaranteed money, it's a huge incentive to come in and take that money away from them. It's also a huge incentive for the people that have it to want to keep it. There's never been guaranteed money in this sport. Those are the incentives. You have to stop looking at it as one competition. It is a series. It is a year-long series that people are trying to push people down the mountain to keep their pro card. And the people coming up the mountain are trying to pull the people off. And that's why you have the whole year. Laura Horvat did not quit on the floor. Good God, man. You think she wanted to finish 9th? She won the rope climb event head-to-head with Alex Kazan, who's one of the best upper body pullers in the world. Went toe-to-toe with her and won that event. She dropped the dumbbells on the lunge. She hit a fatigue. We don't know what was going on that weekend. She didn't quit. I'm telling you, if I talk to Colten, he has a chip on his shoulder. He feels disrespected because he was not asked to be one of the 20 pros. And he is coming to get his. And that is what motivates him. Jason Bourne, bro, she quit. She did not quit. These athletes do not quit. Andrew, if you don't hand out the money, people weren't going to jump over and do this in the wave of athletes that we got. We have this is the best field other than Rogue. And it maybe as good as Rogue is ridiculous. That's how they got that field. They got that field because money was handed out. It's an incentive. Justin Cotler, anyone who thinks the athletes aren't trying because they have a contract doesn't understand the mindset of these athletes. Y'all are hilarious. Thank you, Justin. Thanks for the backup, brother. Patrick Clark, at Justin, you can't watch Event 4 and tell me people weren't trying. It's pro sports, people. You get paid, period. Thank you. Yeah. So there's that. Before I go back to work, I have one more thing to announce, and that is that we have our first drug suspension of the season. It doesn't really affect the season as it was a 5th place finisher at Copasor. But her name is Patricia Goncalves. She failed at the drug test at Copasor, and it appears that she tested positive for the entire pharmacy. You can go to the barbell spin where they have listed all of the things that she tested positive for, but I will tell you it's all of it. But it doesn't really affect the season because she wasn't going to the games anyway. She was the 5th place finisher, not the 1st or 2nd. So that is the first one. She did not appeal this decision, and she is accepting the 4-year ban. Justin, the entire pharmacy. Yep. There have been a few athletes in the past year that have taken the entire pharmacy, and that just kills me. Surprise, surprise, it came from South America. T-Bird says, Justin, stop speaking such truths. Patrick Clark, she tested positive for Flintstones multivitamins as well. Yeah, I think I see that on the list here. She took 2 Barney Rubbles and a Wilma. Back on the other thing, Justin said these athletes would run their grandmother over to win at a game of checkers. And Eric says they're all trying for every point, but the big difference for those who didn't prepare right, Pat Vellner. And Pat could have been sick. He could have been injured. We don't know any of this stuff. Anyway, Corey says, I need to get back on the Flintstones train. Yeah. So that is all we have right now for today. I hope everybody has a great weekend. We will be back Sunday night with Carolyn and Jamie to talk about TFX, see who punches their card there for the CrossFit Games, plus anything else that comes out over the weekend. And I'm sure we will debate some of these topics we just talked about now for sure. And Justin says he needs to get back on the multivitamins as well. Bet my knees would feel a ton better. Patrick Clark, so will we see you in Mesa? I have a spot reserved for you for athlete interviews. I would love to be there. I think I will be there. I just have to see how my wife's recovering and how my mom's recovering from her stroke. Once I make sure everybody's healthy here, that might be a nice trip out there. So yeah, we'll do that. Corey says, we're close to the same age, Justin. Maybe we can get sponsored. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Sponsored by Flintstone Vitamins. That's big money right there. The heck with these other vitamin companies, man. Flintstones has all the money. The other thing I have to look at, Patrick, it really is the age group CrossFit Games that I have committed to. And I know it's close to when Mesa is. So I have to see how that works itself out there. But I have committed to the age group athletes to do another behind the scenes with the age groups. So we'll see that. All right, guys, I have to get back. I have so much on my plate at work today. I need to get back to that. And you knuckleheads get back to work as well. We'll see everybody Sunday night for Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. And next Monday, we'll be back for another lunch serving here on Lunch with the Clydesdale. See everybody next time. Bye, guys.